Hi, this is Kara, and this is DIY on the house. Today we get to visit one of my favorite pastimes is crocheting. I am going to show you how to crochet this dish towel. It only takes 2 stitches and it alternates between those 2 stitches, so it's very quick, very easy, that you don't have to really focus on following a pattern line by line, and when it's done it's adorable and very, very usable. In fact, I made it for Christmas for our daughter-in-law and son, and it made them a set, and it's so cool to go over and see them in daily use. You'll love this towel, so let's get started. Okay, for this dish towel we are going to make today, it uses 2 stitches. One is the half double crochet and the other is the single crochet. So the way you rotate them and alternate them makes a fantastic pattern. So as always, to get started you need to tie a slip knot, and I do mine by going around my index finger and thumb, twisting it and drawing up the yarn, not the tail, draw up the yarn and insert your hook. I use an H hook for these. You can use a medium size, would be G, H, or maybe even an I, but it just makes a real nice pattern. So to get started we need to chain 50 chains. And to remind you, you put it over your hook and draw through, over your hook and draw through, and that creates a chain. So we're going to do that 50 times. Okay, here we are to the end, and this makes 50 chains. At this point we need to count to make sure that you have 50 chains, because from now on you need to make sure that every row has the same amount of stitches. So here's a visual of how you can count them. If you want to start with 35, 45, 55, it doesn't matter, just as long as all of the rest of the rows have the same amount of stitches. So when we get ready to start our foundation row on this one, I'm going to do single crochets all the way across, and you start in the second chain from the hook. So you're going to insert your hook, you're going to draw up your thread and pull it through your stitch, draw up your thread again and pull it through both loops on your hook. So you're going to do that again. You're going to insert it in the next stitch, draw up your thread, draw up your thread again and pull it through both on the hook. And then when we get to the end, we'll count them again and make sure that we have the same number of stitches. So here's how you can count your single crochets. When you go all the way across on this, you need to have 49 single crochets. If you started with 50 chains, now you have 49 single crochets because we skipped that first stitch in the beginning of the row. So when you get down to the end and you're counting, here's 48, there is 49. So there you have 49 stitches. Before we get going on the next row, this is when I like to weave in my tail. So just weave your hook through the stitches, the top row of your stitches, and draw back through your tail. And this will just put the tail into a place where it can be encased by the stitches on the upcoming row. It just keeps it nice and neat and clean and keeps it strong from unraveling. So to get started on your next row, we chain 2 before we do our half double crochet. And so when you stick your hook through, you hook through both of the stitches on the previous row. You stick your hook through both stitches. You drew your yarn over once before you stuck it in. Now you have 3 on your hook. You draw up your yarn again and you draw it through all 3 on your hook. So the rhythm of this pattern is going to be half double crochet and then single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet. So next would be a single. So you do not put your thread over first, you just simply put the hook through the stitch. So put it through both stitches, draw up your yarn once, and draw it through both loops on your hook. Then we do a half double crochet, put the thread over once, put it through both stitches on your hook and draw through all 3 on your hook. Now we do a single, and now we do a half. And you just continue this all the way across. It just makes a really, really cool textured pattern, just alternating single to half double crochet all the way across. It is a little tough to remember, did you end on a single, did you end on a half? It does not matter. They are so similar in stitches that it doesn't matter to the pattern. It just gives it a nice texture. But I will show you here how you can tell the difference between a single and a half double crochet. On the half double crochet, if you look at the stitch, it's the circle here on the horizontal. It has a horizontal angle to the stitch. A single crochet, that stitch goes up and down. That's about the only way you're going to be able to tell where you're left off. But again, it does not matter. So continue going all the way across your project, alternating between single crochet and half double crochet. When you get to the end, if you're going to start with a half double crochet, chain 2 before you start in. If you're going to start with a single crochet, chain 1 before you start in. But at the end of every row, we need to count to make sure that you have 49 stitches. Okay, I went ahead and continued crocheting. So you can see from here how cool the pattern is with the half double crochet, single crochet combination. And if there's a time where I went 2 in a row with 2 half double crochets together, you cannot tell. You just have to make sure, as always, to keep your stitch count even. So on this one, there's 49 stitches in each row. The thread I used for this was the Bernat Deluxe, and I did not know what my project was going to be. I just decided to show you guys how to do a dish towel, and so I just used this skein. Well, I ran out, and I took the wrapper and went back to the store and got the same color. But as you can see in this, the color is the same name, but it is a different shade. So we have one that goes for the majority of it, and then our last few rows here are the wrong color. So just a note, it does take probably more than one ball of this thread to make this towel. So if you're going to buy thread, buy 2 of them and match the dye lot. That's the number that is on the tag, so that you can know that they were both manufactured at the same time. So you're going to have more of a chance of having the same color. Okay, now we need to get ready and put a border on the towel. I am going to do a double crochet all the way across, and we just finished this row, so now we're going to go back the other direction, but this time with double crochets. So you chain 2 and turn your project, and then we're going to do double crochets on all 4 sides around the towel. So to do a double crochet, we are going to do it in the second stitch from the hook, and we're going to draw over, wrap over your yarn, put it in the stitch, and draw up your yarn. Wrap it over, draw it through 2 loops on your hook, draw it over, and draw through the remaining 2. And we're going to continue with double crochet. So draw it over, stick it in the next stitch, draw it through the stitch, draw over your yarn, pull it through 2 on your hook, and pull it through the remaining 2. And that's how you do a double crochet. You do it in each stitch all the way across, and when we get to the corner, we need to deal with how to make the corner lay flat. So we went all the way across, but when you get to a corner, you need to add 3 stitches in the corner before you go down the next side. Otherwise, your project isn't going to lay flat. So when you get down to that edge, the last stitch, you're doing 1 per hole. In that corner stitch, do 3 double crochets before you go on to the next side. So here's what it looks like when you turn the corner. You have the stitches in the corner, and then you just continue on to the next side. Okay, I have finished going around the towel with double crochets all the way around, and so now I am going down one side, going to meet up with where we started in the beginning. So you just insert your hook into the top stitch of your first row and just slip stitch it through, not a single crochet, just slip stitch it through, and you're going to go ahead and snip your thread and draw the whole tail through and make a little knot. And at this point, do the same thing you did on the beginning rows when we were trying to conceal the tail. Just weave your hook through either side of your project and draw up your tail. And then I turn and I weave it through another direction just to make sure that you have some good durability there. Okay, well, here's my little color variation, but no worries on that. But we have the project done, and I really, really love the way the border frames it, the texture of the alternating stitches. Make your towel as big and as little as you want. Just make sure that each row has the same amount of stitches to make sure it's nice and square. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, please comment below. I love hearing feedback and giving me ideas of different projects to do. So leave comments below, give us a thumbs up. As always, subscribe and check back often to DIY on the house.